Okay, right here we have the crepe myrtle, some knockout roses, and some purple hearts. And then I'm about to point out to you here to the left there is a peony, and also there is a lavender right there in the very front. So that's those right there. And from the other side here, we have some lantana, some rose moss, and some Mexican heather. Up here we have in the foreground, there's a camellia. There's also a hydrangea up there, potted with a polka dot plant. And so you'll see in a moment, here's my home sweet home. So I live in the peach state. There's a peach there on my mat. So there's the hydrangea and the polka dot plant there. I have in that pot. I also added, just to add some color to the yard, or I'm sorry, the front porch here, I pulled up my echeveria from the backyard as well as my blue chalk stick plant. And then the pink geranium, I brought that from the backyard as well. They seem like they may have been having a hard time in the backyard because it gets full sun. So I decided to move it up here so it gets sun in the morning, because this is the southern facing area here. And here we have the far side of the porch. You'll see it's pretty wide, and these are some chairs that were left by the previous owners. This is a pretty wide porch, but it's missing the railing and a porch fencing. So just to make things a little bit safer, even though there are only 2 steps there, it just seems like it would be a good idea just to add a little railing there. So that's one of the plans that we have, to add a railing to that area. So you see there's a camellia plant there, and this is pretty much the entire front porch there. That's our other camellia, and our boxwood. That's one of 2 boxwood bushes that we have in there. It's kind of overgrown and we haven't really been taking very good care of it. And here is some of our roses here, and unfortunately this rose had to go. As of me recording this, I've actually had to cut that down. I cut it all the way down to the stump, because I'm zooming in here, getting closer, I'm sorry, and you can see right there that red spot. This particular rose has what's called rose rosette. Once a rose gets that, you've got to get rid of it. I didn't notice it on this one last year, but there was a rose in the yard last year that had this, I'm sorry. So I ended up having to get rid of those. And looks like this one has caught it as well. This one looks okay, and I'm keeping an eye on it, but more than likely I'm gonna have to get rid of this one as well. And it's sad to see them go, because they are so beautiful, but yeah, they have to go. Here is our fig tree, or it's our second fig tree. This thing is a huge grower. It's humongous. It's unbelievable how big that thing gets. You cut it back. My son cut like half of it, and as you can see, it's growing past his window. It's a very large fig tree, and we have tons and tons of figs on it. The birds enjoy it. There was birds living in it, so yeah, it's pretty popular. Here's another view of the crepe myrtles, and that's where the roses were, where that lavender is. I had to take all of those out. That's some pink lilium that was placed in there. That comes back every year. They have beautiful pink blooms, and I'll include a picture of that. They're really pretty. These are some day lilies or morning glories. I'm not sure which one, unfortunately, but you see these large black seeds. They drop down and come back year after year, but they have this beautiful coloring. It was just some magenta and some yellow, and they've since kind of mixed, and you'll see these different sort of speckled flowers that are on them. They're so pretty. You'll see they're yellow with pink, pink with yellow, and they'll all be on the same bush. It is incredible when you look at them. So here you'll see these orangish ones and the magenta ones are on the same bush, and yet you'll see all the different color. They're very, very vibrant. I believe, like I said, they're called morning glories, but I'm not 100% sure on that. This one is a peony. It's really, really beautiful. It bloomed earlier in the spring. I'll include some pictures of that as well. And it got some really, really huge, huge flowers on it. So as it gets bigger and starts to grow more, I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how that's gonna look. In this next box here, you'll see we have some Ruella here. That's the taller ones, the purple one. Purple flowers are on those. It's not blooming right now, probably because it's really hot out. They don't tend to stay out very long. Behind that with the long stems are some amaryllis. Again, I will include some pictures. Those are gorgeous. They come out in the beginning of spring. And coming around here, you'll see that's being totally shaded out by the Ruella and some weeds are some dianthus. There's a couple of dianthus plants down in there. You can't see them. They're a beautiful pink color. They come out in the beginning of spring, but once the Ruella gets out, they completely shade them out, so they're not able to get much light or nutrition after that. So yeah. So here on the other side of the yard, this is kind of my side yard, but I just wanted to show this to you as well. So there was nothing here, just the end. This is basically just the end of the house, kind of where we kept some trash, our trash cans and our recycling cans. So I ended up going to Lowe's and getting a couple of these lattice walls, and they're just plastic, I guess PVC plastic. They have some stakes on the bottom, little metal stakes, and you just stake them in the ground wherever you need them, and you can attach them to each other either in this L-shaped configuration that I have here, or you can do one long line. I just needed to cover the trash cans and the compost bin, so this is after I added a few plants there. I had some lariat in the back that was just kind of growing wild. I showed you that in one of my previous backyard video. I pulled some out and they were so hard to get out of the ground. It was so difficult. They were stuck in there so hard. It took me about 20 minutes to get just these few little plants. It's like 4 or 5 maybe. I had to work so hard to get those out of the ground, so I was able to get those out, and I was like, well, that's fine. They'll be able. I spaced them out because I said, well, they're gonna grow in eventually. So I just kind of left that to grow in. But they have these light purple-ish lavender sort of flowers, and here's a closer look at those. So they'll definitely fill in as time goes on, and it'll kind of cover up the bottom. My goal was just to cover up the bottom of the lattice wall there. That was really what it was, just to kind of give it a little, cover it up just a bit. And so yeah, that's it there. That's that. Yeah, I appreciate you guys for coming with me and doing the tour with me of the yard and seeing all the changes, and I can't wait to share all the updates with you as well with all the changes. So you can definitely hit me up on I'm on Pinterest, I am on YouTube. Of course I'm on YouTube. So I am on Pinterest, I am on Instagram, I'm on Twitter. I try to post things on social media, usually on Mondays, but you can always hit me up. You can DM me, there, and I'll leave all the links to everything to my my socials in the description.